This is the English Literature Web YouTube channel, and I am Professor L.B.Gayakawad is teaching today the topic of the parable, and especially we are studying today the characteristics of the parable. This is the lecture 7 and part 2nd. So remember, here in the first part we have seen some features of this parable. Now we will see the next part. The parable is a short tale which tells a universal truth. Remember, the parable is a particular short tale. It means that it is a short story, and this short story tells us the universal truth. Now, universal truth means what? This is the particular truth which is the story of every common person. Means it is the story of the world man, and that's why this parable gives us the moral lessons to the total world, and that's why this parable is a particular message story. It is narrated in a simple way. Means in a simple way we can narrate it, or the writer can write it in a simple way. The parable sketches a setting, means there is the particular setting, or there is the particular action and the final results of the universality. It means that there is the final result of the universality, because in the life of the person there is the importance to the universality. If there is no universality, then the life of man will not be useful. And in this way, everywhere there is the person, everywhere there is the emotion, and everywhere there is the particular life of man, because his problems and his goodness, all these things are similar, because the man goes through problems and the man has emotions, and due to the emotions the problems are created. And that's why such a universal issue has been discussed, or is discussed with the help of this parable, and that's why this parable gives the moral message to persons, and that's why this is called a moral story. The parable is different sometimes from the analogy and apology. Remember, the parable is quite different from the analogy and apology. So remember, here we will see that when we think that this parable is completely different from the analogy and apology, then we will say that the allegory is a story, is a picture, is a poem which reveals the hidden meaning, which is typically moral or political. For example, Animal Farm by George Orwell, and the second is Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, a spiritual journey. So remember, now we have come to the example of the allegory. So the allegory is the particular moral story. Again, we will see that there are the characters, and these characters are also the animal characters, and they are shown by the writer to give some message, suppose politically. Here we can give the example of the Animal Farm by George Orwell, where he has given the political background, and through that political background he has given us the particular message, and that's why the allegory is also the particular, I will say, the moral story. Then there is the picture, or there is the poem which reveals the hidden meaning, which is typically moral or political. Means this allegory is particularly gives us the message, and that message is on the moral life or political life. Here we have seen the first example. Now we will see the second example, and that second example is about The Pilgrim's Progress, where John Bunyan gives us the moral message. He has given there the religious background, and that particular hero and the heroine goes out to see the particular heaven and the peace of mind. That is the particular spiritual way through which here is the moral message. The apologue is a moral fable, uh, especially united with animals as characters. Now remember, here we are discussing about the apologue. This apologue is a moral fable. Remember, the moral fable, it means that it gives the moral message. That's why it is called the moral fable, which is really united. Specially united means the main purpose of it is to be united with animals as the characters. Means here the animals are the characters. The parable shows the main character uh, which with a moral dilemma or making a bad decision and suffers through unwanted consequences. Remember here, the parable is the particular moral story which is regarding the main character. Means there is one main character, and that main character goes through the moral dilemma, and that moral dilemma is regarding the bad decisions which have been taken by that main character, and that's why that main character suffers through the unwanted results. Means the main character gets the problems and problems only because the decision of that main character has gone wrongly. Though the meaning of the parable isn't often openly or explicitly shown, stated, there is no purpose of keeping hidden or secret. Remember, here the beautiful characteristic of this parable is that the meaning of the parable isn't often openly. It means that the meaning of the parable is not explicitly described there, but actually, though this is the situation, but the purpose of keeping the particular moral message in secret is not there. Means this parable is not keeping the message in secret, though the parable is not often openly shown. Means though it is hidden, but the particular purpose of the parable is not to keep that moral message in the hidden or secret situation, but it is the straightforward and obvious. Means the particular parable is very much obvious, or it is very much straightforward. Means there is no any kind of thing which will be there in the secret. There is the subtext to show the manner of behaving a man or how he should believe. Means remember, there is the particular subtext. Means there is the particular sub part in which there is the manner of behaving. It means there is the message how to behave, and this message is to the particular man, and this man should believe in it. The parable provides guidance and suggestions to improve human with metaphorical language to make people understand easily the complex ideas, thoughts, or difficult ideas in life. Remember, the life is very difficult, and that's why this common man should understand the difficult ideas, and that's why the parable is the particular short story, or I will say the particular moral story, which provides the particular guidance and suggestions to this man to improve his own behavior. The parable carries a concrete narrative to understand easily, and there is the concrete narrative because the purpose of the parable is to make man understand easily. It means that man should understand all the message easily, and that's why the parable tells us the concrete narrative means there is the exact, means there is the I will say the particular, and there is the essential narrative, that is the description, and through that description there is the particular message, and that message is very easy to understand in the sense of the persons. The parable is more condensed, that is more perfect than the allegory. Remember, this allegory is also there, which gives us the political or moral message, and the parable is more condensed. It means that it is more perfect in comparison with the allegory. There is a single principle and a single moral for the understanding of the readers. So remember, we have seen here that there is the single principle, means one principle, that is the message. Principle means there is one ideology, and that ideology is only one, and there is also a single moral message in this parable, and that's why this parable becomes the good lesson to the common person. And this lesson is given for the understanding of the readers, because the readers should understand easily, and that's why there is the single principle and the single moral for the easy understanding of the persons. Here today we have seen the lecture number 7, the characteristics of the parable, part 2. Again, we will come in front of each other with a new topic. Till then, thank you very much.